Hi, I'm Josh Silverman, and welcome to Side Quests. You may know me from the now-defunct Constantly Calibrating podcast, my various other creative outlets, or my current time working in the world of indie video game PR. I'm a well-known Mass Effect and Dragon Age lover, but what you may not know is that I have a deep and unrelenting love of Super Mario RPG Legend of the Seven Stars. Yes, that long-beloved first foray for Mario into RPGs from Squaresoft, now Square Enix, is probably my favorite video game of all time. Why, you may ask? Well, simply put, it was my first RPG. 3 years before Final Fantasy VIII, which was the first RPG that really got me into RPGs as like my favorite genre and whatnot, there was Super Mario RPG, wherein Mario does what Mario does best. He jumps on Bowser's head a bunch and saves Princess Peach. Unless that's only the beginning of our tale? Coming fresh or semi-fresh off a multi-year love affair with Super Mario World on the Super Nintendo, Mario RPG was a breath of fresh air for me in gaming. While I played my fair share of games during my childhood, at the youthful age of 11 years old, I was still really just all about those Mario games. From the classic platformers to Mario's Missing, I loved to play anything adorned with the fine mustache of everyone's favorite plumber. Though I always preferred Luigi, but that's another rant for a different day. Mario was my character through and through, so when I found out there was a different style of Mario game, I was intrigued and I had to jump aboard. I had no idea how RPGs worked. As I said, it was my first one. I didn't get grinding. I just kept kind of moving forward. Treated it almost like a platformer, essentially. Didn't really explore the world, all that fun stuff. From the moment the Giant Sword Exor and Smash of the Star Road piercing the ceiling of Bowser's Keep, I was hooked. The story had just gotten interesting, and I was on a grand adventure to visit the Mushroom Kingdom and ascertain what the fuck was going down in the world of Mario. This is where the game really took off for me. As I mentioned, I loved Super Mario World, which to me gave me that first real look at what the Mushroom Kingdom and Mario's world was really like. I knew not of the world of fanfics at this point in my life. I was 11 and it was the mid-90s after all, so the idea of seeing deeper into existing fictional worlds was relatively new to me. In fact, I'd only really experienced it with Star Wars and the expanded universe at that point. When I think back, Super Mario World leading into Super Mario RPG was that taking the blindfold off moment that really let me explore more of what could exist in my favorite fictional worlds. From Mortal Kombat to the Final Fantasy games to even eventually Mass Effect and Dragon Age, for me going from this simple or semi-simple platformer to what I saw at the time as an open world before open world gaming existed, it was transformative. It's that, it's that key unlocking the door in my head kind of moment. Because you have to remember, aside from Yoshi's Island, every location we visit in Super Mario RPG after the Mushroom Kingdom was a brand new place never before seen in Mario's world or any previous games. Rose Town, Nimbus Land, Seaside Town, these were all fresh places made for the game, inhabited by unique characters either never seen before or never seen before in this particular light, adapting monsters and the various different things from Mario's lore of sorts into different ideas. Super Mario RPG was essentially an AU or alternate universe at a time when that wasn't something I'd personally commonly seen and hadn't really considered. Coming back to Super Mario World, I had been enchanted in that game with the secret Star Road levels. So as soon as I'd managed to overcome Mac the Knife, a character name I enjoyed in Super Mario RPG because just prior to playing the game, I remember having seen some musical that had a song called Mac the Knife. I can't remember enough to exactly remember what it was, but it stands out in my mind. And I had that first star unlocked, and it was like I mentally connected my love of Super Mario World with a new game, and that was the final hook I needed to burn Legend of the Seven Stars into my brain forever. Beyond that, there were so many brilliant boss battles, from my all-time favorite /scorn Boyer to Yuridovich and the motherfucking Axum Rangers. Come on, I was 11 years old, it was the mid-90s, Power Rangers was still fresh in my brain, so this blatant ripoff of them was just perfect. But even those have nothing on my beloved Belome or Croco. And of course, who can forget one of the best and also most surreal-ass boss fights in gaming against Bunt? An inexplicably sentient wedding cake that required a strategy that was impossible to conceive for an 11-year-old, or at least my 11-year-old brain, but was a delightful triumph upon taking down. Seriously, I can't overstate this enough. I was a dumb kid, which led to me buying 2 different strategy guides for Super Mario RPG, one of which was a very clickbait, at least for those days, before that was a term, as it was the unofficial guide that Nintendo didn't want you to know about. Ugh. Now, I can't speak to what others got out of Super Mario RPG or the longevity and lasting factors for them, at least outside of the fact that we all know that there's a fervor that gets stirred up every single time Smash Bros. Has an announcement, and people are inevitably disappointed that Geno again didn't make the cut. For me, Geno was very cool, but I always had a special place in my heart for orphan crybaby Mallow. Maybe it's because he was the first companion that joined Mario on his quest, but Mallow as Mario's semi-protege just worked for me, which is in part why Nimbus Land has always been both my favorite location in the world and also just my favorite music. Seriously, that theme song plays on repeat in my head with just absolutely concerning frequency. And at the risk of being a broken record, that's what's great about Super Mario RPG. There's a character or a location or piece of music for everyone. Anyone who used to visit my Mixer stream in the old days knows that I used to have a booster button, which played "And My Name's Booster," the theme song for the person or creature that individual at the top of Booster's Tower who dreamed of marrying a woman who fell from the sky, even though they didn't quite understand what marriage or even a woman was. Booster wasn't necessarily my favorite character in the game, but his smile, if we can call it that, and absolutely batshit crazy behavior left a mark on my mind that permeates it to this day. I can keep talking in circles on Super Mario RPG all day, and perhaps I will, but what really needs to be stated for me is the fact that, other than Grim Fandango, it's the only game that truly permeated my heart at a young age. So much so that I've replayed it nearly every single year since its original release. And again, we're talking, at this point, about 25 years going on? I've been continuously buying pretty much any video game system with it listed among its catalog, simply just to own another piece of my childhood heart. I wrote a fucking fanfic sequel about Super Mario RPG when I was 12 years old. My only fanfic I have ever attempted, I might add. It was awful, and the illustrations were even worse. Super Mario RPG was the game that should have showed the world that 1, Mario could be more than just a platformer character, and 2, that Nintendo really just needed to let another studio take the reins now and again when it came to their characters. On the latter, they did finally learn that lesson with them giving over The Legend of Zelda over to Koei Tecmo to do their Hyrule Warriors Dynasty Warriors style game, and then giving Mario over most recently to Ubisoft to make the amazing Mario plus Rabbids game. On the former subject of Mario as more than a platform character, they did continue experimenting with Mario post-Legend of the 7 Stars, even with RPGs. There were the Paper Mario games and the Mario and Luigi series, which were both great in their own right, but for me, they never quite captured that magic of Legend of the 7 Stars. Maybe it was because I was older at the time, or maybe I just liked Square Enix's particular brand of Final Fantasy bullshit, but no other RPG featuring Mario has ever quite captivated me like Super Mario RPG did. Maybe again, one day. And that's that. Thank you for listening as I danced around my love of Super Mario RPG. If you're interested in hearing or reading more of my rants and thoughts, you can follow me on Twitter at @BearPunch. Or look out for my upcoming podcast projects. This has been SideQuests, and I wish you all happy gaming.